not. I made up these characters in 1991. They're shape-shifting aliens.
Okay.
And they were made up for role play. And then I brought them into school projects. So I used them in junior high and high school for biology class science reports. And then I brought them in 1997 online to a role play I was doing that's still going to this day. And my friends were like, you should do stories with them. So I've made a few attempts to write a book series, and this one seems to have worked. I'm excited. I've got 6 books written. The first book should be coming out this year.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, cool. And that'll be on a Kickstarter, right?
We're starting the Kickstarter in May, but the Kickstarter's more for like trying to get the audiobook to get some good voice actors and doing a book tour so that we can go around and promote the book. The book, no matter what, will be doing a print to publish starting in August.
All right, sweet. All right, well, I look forward to it. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. We got a handful of questions, and I don't want to take up too much of your time today. So, why don't we start with how we all got into the Ninja Turtles? Michelle, you're a little bit older than I am. Did you originally fall into the fold in the '84 when it originally debuted, or did you come along later, like I did?
I wish I could say I got into the comic books, but I wasn't much of a reader. I'm dyslexic. I learned to read through Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
I got into the cartoon series, and I was even a little late on that. I joined in October 1989.
Okay.
A friend, a couple doors down from our house, brought out a coffee tin of toys and dumped it out. It was normal toys. There was Ghostbusters, there was He-Man, there was Thundercats, and then there was this weird turtle with 4 loops on the back of the shell on a belt. And I'm like, I want to play with this. What is this? I've never seen this before. And I played with that toy that day, not knowing what it was. And a few days later, my brother came in. I'm watching Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, and he changes the channel on me. I'm like, hey, I was watching that. And he goes, it's a rerun. We haven't seen this before. And it was the episode of Thing About Rats of the original Ninja Turtle series.
Oh,
Nice.
sweet.
And I hooked that day.
I have to say, same. I don't know what exactly it was. I know that, like everybody else, I was into Batman and Superman, and then Turtles hit. I think it was the pizza that locked me in, honestly. Well, what about you, man? What was there anything in particular?
Honestly, like my first experience with Ninja Turtles was the first Ninja Turtle movie,
1990.
Yeah, that was my first experience. Like, I'm not as big into Ninja Turtles as you guys are, but like, I still hug them.
I like the first movie.
Oh yeah.
If you don't, you're not a real Ninja Turtle fan. I don't think I could accept you.
With the first movie, I actually got my hands on the novel first, and my mom told me to read the novel, and then I could go to the movie the first day it came out and miss school that day.
Nice.
If I read the novel first. And that's how the Turtles helped me learn to read, because I had to read that book.
That's awesome. I remember, I think it was like the last pod that you had, or the last live stream that you had, you were talking about your mom got you out of school quite a bit to go to the movies.
Yes. She was very good with that. Every Ninja Turtle movie I got out for the Turtle movies. But with Turtles 2, I got to cheat a little bit because I got to go to the Detroit premieres. So I saw it twice before it hit actual drop date at the theaters.
Wow, that's awesome.
But I was the turtle working those premieres, so I got in free. I got all the goodies. Well, dudes don't even know I was a girl in the costume. Man, I love being a turtle.
That's awesome. I also wanted to mention that because, like, it was before the toys that became, or toys that made us. You were also on. It was a short episode of something on VH1, right? How did you get contacted for that?
Okay. There's a few things I was on before the Toys That Made Us. The Toys That Made Us is one of the more recent known things. Mm-hmm. But the one you're talking about, it's called Totally Obsessed. It was a TV series.
Okay.
And in January of that year, that was 2004, Mirage Studios, which I've already been behind the scenes of Ninja Turtles for about 10 years at that point.
Okay.
Mirage Studios, one of my friends who used to work at the studios contacted me and said, hey, there's a TV show looking for collectors. You should definitely contact them. If I didn't get that poke, I probably would not have sent in a message, and they had me send in a short audition video.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, we're coming out to your house. They gave me about a week's notice when they were actually finally coming. and I was able to get the upstairs ready with all the turtle stuff, and then they only used a few corners. They were at my house for 3 days to film.
Wow.
And they got there on June 5th, 2004. It was my friend's birthday, and she lived in Minnesota, and they decided to fly her out for this interview thing. You see her a couple times in the video, like when I'm making the pizza, she's the one in the kitchen with me.
Mm-hmm.
They did a full interview with her on my back porch. They don't use any of it because she said only nice stuff about me. They had another friend of mine who just got out of the hospital and originally said no to the interview. They kept hounding her for it. They went to her house and interviewed her on her porch, and then they didn't even use any of it because all they said was nice stuff. They ended up using a neighbor from my childhood who didn't really know me at the time. She was more my brother's neighbor at that time. But she got a line in there.
Yeah.
But the two friends, and my friend who flew out, she goes by the Nick Turtle Ninja. Tian's like, I spent most of my day in the airport, leaving and coming for my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, that was because of my friend from Mirage, which I'm not going to name because she's a bit embarrassed that how the show turned out. But I've also was on a show called Fanatical that was aired in Canada and overseas. And I'm on a couple Ninja Turtle DVDs. In fact, that's where I thought you were going when you were bringing up the Toys That Made Us, because the Turtle Power documentary came out before that.
Yeah.
And that's better than the Toys That Made Us. And I'm on that as well.
Okay. And that's, you can get that on like Amazon and stuff, right? Or is there a
specific... Yeah, Amazon, Best Buy, it's still out there. And that's got the real reunion. The reunion that they put in the Toys That Made Us was them having it done again, even though it was already done.
Oh,
camera tricks. Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, you got any questions you want to ask right off, man?
I'm just gonna go like straight to ours. Like, is there anything you guys actually like? Any of the series you guys actually hate and wish they didn't make? Because I got beef for the I got beef with the new cartoon. The newer cartoon.
Oh, the Rise of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I'd say the last 2 seasons of the original cartoon series is my lowest point for Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Carter and Drake.
Yeah.
The 2018 series, I feel like if it was not Ninja Turtles, I would have really enjoyed that cartoon. They had a lot of great new villains brought in. I like Meat Sweats. I like Baron Draxum. I love that kind of stuff. But I hated the magical weapons.
Yeah.
And they know it at the studio that I hated that. And I did not care for the way Splinter was treated, as I've always enjoyed that. They were very close with their father.
Yeah.
With the way they grew up, all they had was each other. And I felt that. I was getting beaten at school. And I'd go home and my family was the most important thing to me. So having them like every other teenage show out there where it's fight with the parents or not understanding the parents, it just made me sad.
Yeah.
But for the lowest point, though, it goes to Carter and Drake.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest, honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Next Mutation. I thought that's where they started looking super goo. I know. I felt where that's where they started, like, because they weren't Jim Henson Turtles anymore, you know, and then the
Turtles 3, they weren't Jim Henson Turtles.
Well, yeah, you know, at that point they kept kind of like just de-evolving, I thought, you know, and I never really got into it. I know that is that where they crossed over with Power Rangers at one point too?
They did, but you can't blame the Next Mutation for that. It was not the Next Mutation writers or the actors in those suits.
Oh, okay, wow. See,
that was all done behind Mirage. Mirage agreed to it as long as they could read the script. Mirage Studios didn't even know it was happening until the commercial hit the air.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
I was the detective on that. As soon as they advertised a superhero is crossing over with the Power Rangers next week, and I'm like, oh no. So I contacted my friends who worked on the show because I was on the set of the Next Mutation when they were filming.
Yeah.
So I contacted some of the actors, and they're like, no, we never filmed with the Power Rangers. Then I contacted Mirage, and they're like, we signed a contract, but they never sent us a script. It won't be the Turtles.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, so that right there, that's not the Next Mutation's fault. The Next Mutation there's a story behind that. The Next Mutation was fantastic scripts. I have over 20 of the scripts from that series.
Yeah.
And I read the scripts in July of 1997. The show came out in August. I was so excited to watch the show because of the scripts. If I could get my hands on the original footage and the original sound clips and re-edit that, I could save that series.
Yes.
The first episodes are the hardest ones to watch. I say if you can make it through East Meets West, the rest of the show, as long as you're willing to go along for the ride, it can be fun. I love the episodes with the vampires and Bone Steel, and Dr. Queez is still one of my favorite turtle villains in history. So it's all depends on how you see the show.
All right, so I will make a pact with you or for you. I will watch it again. You said getting past East versus West.
East Meets West. The first 5 episodes. Get past that. It's the worst editing. It's the worst sound clips. And there was a scene in the first episode that got cut, and it's Michelangelo and Donatello at a computer. This is a completely deleted scene. It was actually the audition scene for the voice of Michelangelo. Kirby Morrow told me that he was shocked when I had him read that part of the script at a convention. But it's my favorite scene inside episode 1, and it's deleted. They're at a computer, and Donatello goes, "She wants to know our age." Man, I love chat rooms. Where else can a cold-blooded reptile meet a hot-blooded babe? Tell her her age. We're 18. Her and her friend just turned 17. Touchdown! Uh-oh. She wants to know what we look like. Tell the truth. Tell her we're strong, handsome, intelligent, into martial arts and fast machines. Leave out the green part? Leave out the green part. I love that scene. I love that scene. And it is a completely deleted scene. As I said, the scripts are better. And those first 5 episodes, for some odd reason, are really shredded. And the script that I thought was the worst of the ones I read ended up being my favorite episode when it was on the air. And that was the episode I watched filmed, episode 24 of The Guest, where Dr. Queez, it's got this staff thing that's really bad. And Splinter's blind friend moves into the lair. And when I read the script, I'm like, oh, this is kind of it's an okay script. But I love the acting in that episode.
Sometimes the ideas are better on paper or versus the execution, and sometimes vice versa. So, I guess it depends on who's handling it.
Totally.
How did you feel about Michael Bay's introduction to the turtle?
I have major issues with 2014, but I love 2016.
Okay. Like what specifically? Because I had issues as well with that movie.
Well, the 2014 movie, it's the fans' fault. Well, it's Michael Bay and the fans' fault. Jonathan, the director of the movie, actually had a good storyline going on for the Utrums. And that was the story arc that producers were kind of leaking to me before Michael Bay. It was the weekend of the mall opening, Mall of America opening up the big Ninja Turtle ride. We just broke the world record. Huge event. I'm getting ready to go back and report on this amazing event. We're in the car heading back to Michigan from Minnesota, and my email just started blowing up. It got so bad I couldn't even pull in my email because all of a sudden this video clip, 15-second video clip, hit the internet called Teenage Mutant Alien Turtles.
Right.
And it's Michael Bay saying the Ninja Turtles are from an alien race. He did not say the Ninja Turtles are an alien race. And if turtle fans stop and think about this, Ninja Turtles are from an alien race about 99% of the time. And it would be 100% of the time if not for a scene being deleted from Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, where they showed that Professor Jordan Perry was an Utrum. The ooze always came from space. Either Krang or the Utrums. That's where it comes from. And that's what the comment really meant. And then a script came out several months later, and everyone's like, oh, this is definitely the script. And I'm like, guys, how long do we give somebody to write up a docked up script?
Yeah.
So I don't believe that script that got out was real, because it does not match what I was told beforehand. And had people excited coming to me saying it was about the Utrums, and I was excited to see the Utrums finally hit the big screen. But the fans were so loud that the studio turned around and said, you have to cut everything alien from the movie.
Jeez.
And now there's only a little bit of the original stuff left in there, but they didn't really raise the budget to do a bunch more turtle scenes.
Right.
So all of a sudden they had to fill the movie with April O'Neil. And we have the April O'Neil Ninja Turtle movie. Her acting reminded me a lot of Paige Turco, so I could have survived that April movie if it wasn't all April.
Right.
Also, there was a very horrible scene. She's like inside the studio trying to tell her boss what the turtles look like, and she points at a freaking picture of a painted turtle. The very next scene, she's showing Eric the pictures she caught on her phone.
Right.
Why did she get fired if she had photos?
All right, I'm starting to get it now. Yeah, I guess we're in an age where the fans, if they don't like something, they're getting ready to cancel the movie altogether. Like the same thing happened with Sonic the Hedgehog, I believe. There were a couple other examples, but yeah, they're very vocal and they definitely make filmmaking difficult nowadays.
Well, with Sonic, I understood a bit, and you know what I like with the studios is they actually fixed the design, and he looks fantastic. With Turtles, we cried, and they did not fix the turtles. They still came out with the big lips, the over powerful muscles, and the nostrils, and I'm just like, they don't look right.
Right.
Now, that's a complaint everyone makes, but I don't judge a series based on the designs because Eastman and Laird encouraged artists to show different designs. If you look at Volume 1, when all the guest artists were in there, it was different designs for the turtles constantly, and that's because they didn't give them a form and said, you had to stick to this. They said, we want to see your turtles. So if we turn around and say, I don't like that turtles, they should just stick to this format of what the turtles look like, then we're not giving others the option to share theirs like the original creators encouraged.
Right.
So I don't like the designs of the 2014 turtles, but that's not what ruined it to me.
Right. What about the rumor that they were getting ready to make Michael Fichtner? They were going to make him Shredder instead of having it be a Japanese guy. Was that right?
I don't know.
I think
I don't know if that rumor was right or not.
I think because he was the main head honcho, the CEO that knew April,
Eric.
father. Yeah. They were going to make him the Shredder. And then people were like, no. And then they did, like you said, that they refilmed. And then what they refilmed with what they already had, threw it together. That's kind of why it was a little funky.
I hate that they never give the name Oroku Saki. That even in the sequel, they turn around and they keep calling him Shredder. The police would not let him keep the nickname. They would call him his actual birth name instead of saying Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I didn't like that they still tried to keep the history cut out for who the Shredder is.
Yeah.
But all the we're going to change characters, races, and stuff. That's just kind of what's happening these days.
Yeah.
Gender switching. I mean, we saw at first with the rise of TMNT, Casey was female, and then they changed that with the movie by making it so Casey's her son.
Yeah.
But there's just this whole, we're going to change everything. We're going to change characters' races. Now, April was originally based off of Kevin Eastman's original girlfriend and then wife for a little bit, then ex-wife, who was colored skin.
Yeah.
And so her being changed to different colors, I don't care what race April is, as long as she plays the role of the turtle's friend.
Right.
It's not about what we look like. It's about who we are. What I cared about was what the 2012 series did with her. All of a sudden, April, their first human friend, is no longer just human. She has powers. She's turned into Phoenix from X-Men.
Yeah.
I had that problem with even Volume 2 of Mirage when Peter Laird had April turn into nobody because of the whole pencil thing. I don't know if you guys read the comic books, but
what was the pencil thing?
You guys know Kirby's pencil from the 4Kids series when he was down in the basement drawing and the stuff would come to life?
Yeah.
April's basically a drawing from that pencil.
Oh.
Oh man. See,
Yeah.
this is why I hit you up, because you're way more knowledgeable about this stuff. I know stuff, but you know more in depth about, behind the scenes and stuff like that. And that's more, to me, that's a lot more valuable to have.
Well, everybody who's a fan of something knows something. Like if somebody's only into the original cartoon series, they'll definitely beat me in a trivia contest against the original cartoon series.
Mhm.
Same thing with the comic books. If people continued reading Volume 4, I kind of lost luster after that. It kind of disappointed me. And that wasn't the first disappointment in that series. Peter had an alien ship crash on Earth. I'm excited to see how that's going to be handled. And then he jumps 1 year later, and now the turtles are walking out amongst humans without having to wear hats and coats. I would have liked to have seen their first time coming out of the sewer going, wait, we don't have to hide?
Right.
That's something I was on the edge of my seat to see. And so there was a few lumps for me in Volume 4 of the Turtles. I enjoyed other things. I enjoyed what Michelangelo's job was and the mess he got into.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed April's story building up to what was wrong with her, but when I found out what was wrong, I was like, what? She's turned into a cockroach for an issue as she learns. And she gets to mate with the cockroaches and live amongst the other cockroaches during that time.
Oh man, I guess they can't all be winners, right?
No, they're not.
Wow.
But they're fun. I love what Eastman and Laird can come up with. That just was not my story arc.
I myself always dabbled with what would happen if the Ninja Turtles got split up in a certain way. I had an idea in my head. I don't know if it's ever been done, but Leonardo, for whatever reason, would defect and join the Foot Clan to a point where he would have to kill one of his brothers because of some truth that came up, and never got past that. But have you yourself ever dabbled in the fan fiction, trying to come up with a story?
Well, not only have I, but you know how I mentioned that I brought my characters online. One of the first ways I introduced them to the internet was in a Ninja Turtle fanfic called The Shape of a Turtle. And they meet my shape-shifting characters, and the way they meet, the first time they are introduced, is the character, to win the trust of Leonardo, took the shape of a turtle.
Okay.
But that is a 25-chapter fanfic. It's more like a book itself. Yeah. And I enjoy it because Leonardo's actually stuck working with the Foot Clan in that, working directly with Shredder, but Shredder's not in charge in this. He's stuck because he's been enslaved by the villains of my story. So Leo and Shredder are both stuck in the same situation. Shredder gets drunk in a scene, is having a fit that he's got to work with Leonardo, and goes on about how his brother was killed by Hamata Yoshi, and it's just not fair. And it's just this whole drunk scene of Shredder blowing up, and people love how that one worked out. They're like, oh my, you don't normally see him miss Nagi. Yeah. Because that's usually cut from everybody's origin stories. Do you guys know that origin story?
Yeah. I would love to get my hands on that, honestly, because I also enjoy the movie Friday the 13th. There's a lot of fan films that are out on YouTube or Indiegogo, and for what they have to work with, not the Hollywood script and the budget and the actors and all that, they're really awesome to watch. And I'd always wish that they had more of that for the Ninja Turtles. So
is a few. There's a couple Casey Jones ones out there. But turtle costumes are very hard to come by, especially good ones. But the thing is, there's so many talented people. But most of the time, if you're talented, be it art or writing, you're horrible in business. So it's extremely hard for a talented person to get their stuff out there, especially back when we were young. Now it's getting easier because of YouTube. So you're starting to see more of the fan films and stuff hit the daylight, but I've been seeing it my entire life. In fact, there's a couple celebrities out there that started off doing home movies and turned it into something really big. Back in the 1980s, there was these three guys that were gophers and extras on a show called The Ghoul Show, and my dad was the art director. They saw my dad's artwork and said, dude, we got to make bad movies together. In fact, that was in one of their movies when I was 4 years old. They turned around and did a movie called Evil Dead, and then next thing we know, they're out there working on Xena and Hercules, the Spider-Man movies, Doctor Strange. So I'm talking about Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and Scott Spiegel.
Yeah.
In fact, this here is the movie that I was in when I was 4 years old. Thou Shalt Not Kill, Except.
Okay.
I just picked it up so I can show a friend of mine. So I have it right over here. But and so creative teams are out there. It's just usually the money and ways of getting stuff out there that's hard.
Right.
And coming up with those turtle costumes, that's not easy.
Yeah.
That's why it's one of the not as much out there as it could be. Now, there's the writers, and there's even the voice actors.
Man, let's see. The sequel to the Michael Bay films. You said you liked that a lot better, right?
Oh yeah. That was like the love letter to the fans saying, we're sorry for the last movie. Here, we'll just make mention of it in like 2 minutes in the beginning of this movie, and then we're going to forget the last movie ever happened.
Right.
And there's only a few problems I have with that movie. Like, I don't like Baxter Stockman.
Okay.
I love a more serious Baxter Stockman. So like the 4 Kids series is one of my favorite versions of Baxter Stockman. As a kid, I really adored the Baxter Stockman in the original cartoon series, to the point where I made fits that there was not a toy. I cannot express my love that NECA finally made a toy of him, because I liked him more human than fly.
Yeah.
So when they did this movie and did Baxter Stockman wanting to high five the Shredder and giggling and going, it just was not. It was more the Nutty Professor than Baxter Stockman to me.
Fair.
But other than that, Casey, he didn't need an origin story, but that's what they decided to do. I wish they went straight into Vigilante, because if we could have seen Stephen Amell just doing the Vigilante Casey, more people, I think, would have appreciated him as Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Not his fault that the script did not let him break loose. The Turtles actually each having a plot line, that's the first time that's happened on the big screen.
Yeah.
Normally, the movie focuses on 2 turtles, and those 2 turtles rule the movie. But if you watch that 2016 movie, you'll find every turtle had a spot in this movie where they affected the plot line. And I like that, because like the 2007 movie, badly written fanfic. I've said that to a lot of people who worked on that film. I liked some of the scenes, but it was the Leonardo Raff fight scene movie, and they've made it all about Leon Raff. I mean, Don doesn't even have a full 10 minutes of screen time. But they took Leonardo and April O'Neil completely out of character, and Splinter, just to be able to make that movie happen.
Yeah.
For Leonardo to turn around and go, I'm better than you. That's them wanting that fight scene. Okay. Have you guys seen that movie? Both of you?
I haven't seen
2007 animated one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
You've not seen it? You have. Who do you think won, Raph or Leo?
I've always been a Raph fan.
But I'm asking in that fight in particular.
Leo.
Yeah. Because when the swords are caught and he has time to look at the blades in the size, look back at Raph and look back at the blades. That's the moment when he made the decision to let Raph win.
Yeah.
Because if he wanted to win, he had more than enough time with those glances to drop his swords and do a front kick, sending Raph away from him. But instead, he knew the fight would keep going, and the only way to end the fight was for Raph to win. So that was Leonardo winning the fight.
I like that movie. I thought it was there. I thought there were some problems with it, but I wish they would. I kind of feel like I want another movie like that, like an animation movie like that, rather than.
Well, we got the new one coming out that I'm curious about. I worked on the 2007 movie. I was a script consultant on it.
Oh, dang. See?
I'm the reason the swords got broken. Because when they contacted me, they had me read the script, and then they're like, we'll do a phone call, and if we want to follow up, we'll ask for a written report. And there was 2 of us that did it. And so I got the script, and I remember they did the phone call. I was actually flying back from Anime Vegas, so I was sitting in an airport when I did the call with Warner Brothers. And I sat down going over my notes, and I had a bunch of notes written out. And one of them was, if you insist on this fight scene that's been overdone, at least have Raph use his sides properly for the first time in Ninja Turtle history. As a martial arts teacher, I know that the sides are meant to break the blades of katana, and he's never done it. So they got excited with that and then told me they want the write-up. I gave them an 11-page report. They used like this much of it, but I got paid, and I'm on IMDb as uncredited for it, but I wish I was in the credits. That would have been fun.
Speaking of being versed in martial arts and the weaponry, has there ever been like an out front discussion about why Splinter gave each of the turtles those specific weapons? Because I know there's a fan,
like
there's a fan
Eastman
theory.
and Laird, but from the fans, we've all discussed it. But it's more of a fan conversation than what Eastman and Laird have come up with for
it. Will, have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have. The boys were actually watching an episode the other day, and it was one of the newer series. They're talking about it on there. I wasn't really paying much attention, but I remember watching it.
Because I always thought it interesting, like the hothead Raphael, he was given the defensive weapons.
Yeah.
Michelangelo given that. Yeah. All right. I was curious if we'd all heard about that.
Just shows how well Splinter knew them, that these are the areas they need to work on. Now, Mikey's naturally talented. Mikey could be a leader if he didn't want to be lazy. Right. And I love that in the 4Kids series, they actually show that. Sadly, though, most people treat him as if he's too young and stupid, and that's why he's not the leader. And that's how I felt the 2012 series treated him, because they'd give him the little thought bubbles and only made him smart in Dimension X. Yeah. But Mikey is a lot smarter than he appears. In an episode, Shredder Strikes Back in the 4Kids series, season 1, they're staying at April's apartment at this time, and Raph and Don are doing dishes, and Mikey peeks his head in and goes, "Can I help?" And Raph and Don look towards him as April's voice is heard, "Keep him away from the china." And he goes, "It worked." And he dances out of the room. And Raph and Don look at each other. Is it me or is he getting worse? Then in season 4, he's sitting down going through comics as Leo's doing this really intense training with Splinter. This is Leo's angsty time where Leo's just gone completely dark. At one point, Casey even says, "Leo, since when are you eating out of Raph's bowl?" But Raph and Don are standing behind where Mikey is, and they're complaining about how Leo's been acting. And Mike turns around and says, "Hey, guys, lay off of him. If it wasn't for Leo, Don couldn't do his techie stuff. I couldn't do my video games and comics. And Raph couldn't do, well, his Raph stuff." And he takes all of the pressure off of our shells. It just shows how much he actually realizes what's going on around him and how much smarter he is. And the nunchucks shows how talented he is.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to start talking about some of your prized possessions that you had. I see a bit of the collection behind you. What is your most expensive purchase as far as your collection? Like, what did you spend the most on one item?
Michelangelo's head.
Okay.
I got Michelangelo's head from the 3rd movie. I was actually kind of annoyed with some of the stuff about that. The guy who sold it to me, bought it at auction very cheap when the company went down All Effects. They did an auction and sold this stuff off, and this guy went in there and bought it all for a profit. He didn't even know the turtles by name. He sold me Leonardo's for $1,800 because Raph went up on eBay from somebody else, and I bidded $1,800 and lost the bid. And he came to me and said, "I will sell you a different turtle at $1,800. And I'm like, these are animatronic heads. I need a picture to prove that you really have it. So we did deals back and forth. I even sent the photos off to Mirage Studios to have it confirmed that this is the real stuff. And then he sells me Leo, and it comes with its base, with the part to put inside the head, and the base to put the part onto the wood rod. And Leo was in a great condition, maybe a few holes here or there in the foam latex, but that's expected. So then he comes to me and he goes, "I have a different turtle." And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, Leo was so expensive." And I'm working gas station jobs. I'm working hotel housekeeping jobs. I'm working all these little jobs to where I'm not making but $200 a week. So I'm thinking, I don't need another turtle. And he waited till I paid off the first one before telling me he had another one. And I'm telling him, if it's Raph or Don, I'm not buying. Then he sent me a picture of Michelangelo.
Oh.
But that's when he really got me. He turned around and said $2,000.
Oh.
So he upped the price on me. And when that came in the mail, Michelangelo's bottom jaw was completely broken, severed right down the middle. And both cheeks had huge holes in it, huge, to where you can see the teeth already. So he's really zombified now.
Yeah.
Then the other problem that came was he sent me the piece that goes into the head with the rod, but he didn't send me the original base with it.
Oh, man.
And when I complained about all this stuff, he turned around and told me that, oh, the base would have damaged it in the pack. No, you shipped it just great the first time.
Yeah.
But they're not even my favorite movie props. I love them. I adore them. But my favorite movie prop came to me free. I was doing interviews in 2011 for Cowabunga Corner, and it just seemed like one person was like, hey, have you talked to this person yet? Have you talked to this person? And I finally got to the point where it was, have you talked to Kurt Bryant? I'm like, Toka? No, I've not talked to Toka before. And I get a phone call because Mark Ginther decides he's going to give Kurt Bryant my phone number. So Kurt calls me up. We set up the interview. And I show up at his office because he runs a stunt double company in Los Angeles. And when I walked in, he goes, I got a gift for you. But when I had it all these years, 20 years, it's just been sitting in a plastic bag. Well, I figured I'm going to give it to you. So I went in my garage, took it out of the garage, opened up the bag, and I watched the foam latex decay in front of me.
Oh, wow.
So he pulls it out. And it's Toka's hand, an original Jim Henson movie prop.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
I about died. So, yes, that is sitting in my collection. I try to take very good care of it. It's with my Michelangelo hands from Turtles 3. I've got a handful of different props. I have tons of original artwork from comic art to animation cells and the artwork for animation cells. And I have a couple suitcases with scripts in them. So I've been collecting since 1989, and the collection just keeps growing.
Oh, wow. Who are some of your favorite artists as far as Turtles go? I get a bunch of they're not official like comic book artists, but like Eddie Nunez, he's the guy that did the turtle tattoos that I have. I like Mateus Santaluco, he's really awesome. I like his stuff. Of course, Kevin Eastman. But what about yourself?
I really love Michael Dooney when I was a kid. He did all the covers for the magazines and the pull-out posters that were inside of them. So when I was a kid, it was Michael Dooney all the way. It was like, oh my God, Michael. I love a lot of Jim Lawson's early stuff. I like Mateus, and I got to hang out with him this last summer, and meeting him was just as awesome. Of course, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Anytime the two of them combine and put together a piece together is one of my favorite things to see. I like their artwork. Each of them have their own style, but when it collides, it's something different. And I like that.
Yeah.
Of course, Mark Bodie. I can't. My tattoo is by Mark Bodie.
Okay.
He told me he's a tattoo artist, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I was over for dinner, and he's poking at me. He's going, you need a turtle tattoo. You need a turtle tattoo. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't need a turtle tattoo. And Molly talks about how it was hard to get the tattoo on her back, how she cried most of the time. And he goes, yeah, she was embarrassing to have done at the shop because of this. So it was a lot of talk where I was like, there's no way I'm going to get a tattoo. But at the same time, I knew he did tattoos before I came out on that trip. And a friend of mine was telling me that if you get a turtle tattoo, I'll get a turtle tattoo. And I'm like, the only way I'll ever get a tattoo is if I get it done by Mark Bodie. Well, now all of a sudden Mark Bodie is talking to me about a tattoo. So I go back to our hotel. We're supposed to get on the road in the morning to head down to my mom's friend house in New York. And I'm like, do I do this? So the next morning we're out for breakfast. I'm like, hey, Mom, I've actually really thought about this. Mark has asthma, and Molly's almost lost him a few times because he's extremely allergic to cats and dogs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything happens to Mark and I don't do this, I'm going to regret it the rest of my life.
Right.
So, and Mark and Molly are such good friends of mine. I've been friends with Molly since 1996. I think they are amazing people. So we went to his tattoo parlor, and he eventually was able to make it. There was an accident blocking the only bridge to get to the tattoo parlor from where their house is.
Mm-hmm.
And that accident made it so he was like 3 hours late. So we barely made it to the house in New York we were going to. But he got there and he's like, "Are you sure you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, draw a turtle and put it on, and I'll put it on you." I'm like, "No, if I'm getting a Ninja Turtle tattoo from a Ninja Turtle artist, you're drawing the turtle." So he drew 3, and I picked which one. And I said, the only condition is I want you to put the color blue somehow in there, even though it's Michelangelo. Blue is my favorite color. So he gave it a blue sky. Nice. And yeah, I got my tattoo that day.
All right. Well, I think that knocks out one of my next questions. So Michelangelo is your favorite then?
Oh, totally. And it just kept going that way because my dad made my turtle costume only a year after I became a fan. Yeah. And of course, it was a Michelangelo costume. And then I became the Detroit Party Turtle, doing over 150 birthday parties as Michelangelo and working the movie theaters. Well, I've actually wore the costume for Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird before too. So no one knew I was a girl in the costume. I'd have adults going up and asking, "How old is your boy in the costume?" It's fun because my name is Michelle, which is close to spelling Michelangelo. So I'd have kids come up and say, "What's your real name?" And I'll tell you what, just spell it out. I'm like, M-I-C-H. No, your real name. M-I-C. No, your real name. That's it was cool. Fun. I've had a few times where I could actually eat pizza in the suit in front of kids. Wow. We'd always bring in a large Gatorade that I could drink in front of the kids. I had a fan in the costume, so I had something to help keep me cool. Worst parties were those over 100 degrees outside. Oh. I preferred being in AC houses. Scary parties was if I was told I was going to a 12-year-old birthday party, which did happen once. But it ended up being one of the best parties because the kid completely believed I was real. Yeah. I had 9-year-olds convinced I was real constantly. They'd be the ones. Usually it was about 8, 9 years old when a kid would question, like really drill you. And we had one 9-year-old at one of our earliest parties constantly at me going, "You're not a real turtle." And then we had Bebop crashing our parties. As soon as Bebop came running in, and I'm pulling out the turtle com with Splinter's voice coming out, "My son, where are you? Why are you not at ninja practice?" As soon as that's happening, the kid is off in the background with tears in his eyes. "Oh my God, this is real! This is real!" That's awesome. Completely breaking down. Those I did birthday parties at some of the most richest, amazing mansions in town. I did one party for a family that was completely Italian. And the grandmother wanted to bring us in for the home-cooked meal afterwards because of how well we did. The birthday boy's name was Luigi. I kept following around. "Dude, where's Mario? Come on, man, where's Mario? I need to meet Mario too. Why aren't you wearing green?" That poor kid. But when you get out of a suit like that, you're not hungry, you're thirsty, and pasta is super heavy. You can get sick eating pasta. But I'm having pasta, Italian food, lasagna and everything being set in front of me, homemade. And that's my favorite food is Italian food. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there going, "How much can I eat?" And then I got the grandmother, "Muncha, muncha." We got in the car and turned on the song Lasagna by Weird Al Yankovic. And of course it gets to "Get nice and big like your cousin Luigi. Luigi, my peach by pond, my peach by pond." And we're like, "Oh my God, the song is about this party." It was perfect. The worst, absolute worst type of parties are nighttime parties. There was a few religious parties. The same group would hire us for these nighttime parties about 9, 10 o'clock at night for these little kids. and the religion was not for females.
Oh,
And
wow.
they'd have these little girls all dressed up like porcelain dolls, just gorgeous little girls. And one of them came up to me to try and talk. An adult walked up and grabbed her by her hair, pulling her back enough off her feet, and yelled at her, "He's here for the boys, not you."
Oh
Wow.
man.
At those parties, the adults encouraged the kids to attack the turtle. So that is the only time where we actually had any violence towards the costume at all. In a year and a half, we did maybe 3 of these parties. They
Yeah.
called up a 4th time to try and book us, and I heard who it was, and I'm sorry, we're not doing any more parties. I'm a teenager answering this business, our business line.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, we're not doing any more parties with you guys because of these reasons. And I list the reasons. And the guy's like, I want to talk to your manager. And I go, you're talking to the turtle dude, and I'm not coming back. And hung up that phone.
That's awesome.
So, but most parties, out of 150 parties, to only have 3 bad ones, it was the best job in my life.
I bet. That sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost done. As far as like the music of the soundtrack to the Ninja Turtle movies, the cartoons, did you have any favorite pieces?
Oh, yeah.
Like which ones?
The best Ninja Turtle song ever written is Turtle Power. I will stand behind that.
Partners in Crime.
I love it.
What do you think about how that was written? Because it seems like it points at, it straight up calls Raphael the leader of the group.
Well, have you ever listened to an interview from Richard about that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Richard was given the script, and that was it. And he had a weekend to write that.
Ah, okay.
So he didn't know anything about Ninja Turtles. And these days, if you ever catch a live performance of Turtle Power by Richard, you will hear him saying Raphael's the bad boy of the group instead of the leader of the group.
Okay.
So he did change that line. I first heard the new lyrics in 2014 at Jared's Epic Party in Dallas, Texas. He brought in both Partners in Crime and Vanilla Ice for that party. And I like Partners in Crime party part of it way more. While I like Ninja Rap, I had a problem. The fundraiser was to get Vanilla Ice on stage to sing Ninja Rap again with the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a new version to where all you got was the chorus lines. Go Ninja, go. Ninja, rap. You never heard the lines. Have you ever seen a turtle get down, slamming and jamming to the new swing sound? That never came up.
Yeah.
And I've now seen him do this other version twice. I can't get into it at all. And I keep thinking, dude, why can't you just bring back the original? Mm-hmm. Everyone else is singing the retro stuff that the fans are looking for. And you're coming and throwing something at us that doesn't even match it.
Yeah.
But he's traveling with turtles on stage with him, so that's cool.
Yeah. It's about that cash grab, I think.
Mm.
Keeping in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Man, Will, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about at all?
Yeah, I was see, like, you guys, do you have your Holy Grail item in your collection, or what would your Holy Grail item be? If either one of you guys.
Well, Michelle said her turtle head and Toka hand, right?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was your Holy Grail.
Oh, a Holy Grail. Well, for me, it always was the costumes, and the holiest of awesome things that I would have wanted would have been a costume from the first movie, animatronic, not stunt. But you can only get stunt costumes because the first 2 movies, the animatronic heads were all destroyed but one. And that head is stripped of its skin and hanging up in Henson's Creature Shop. So anyone ever tells you that they're selling a head from 1 or 2, they're selling either a stunt head or a fake head.
Right.
Okay.
So that would have been my first movie. Love the first movie.
I don't know if I have any Holy Grails. I just have like just stuff I'm super proud of. Like I have a Super Shredder figure signed by Kevin Nash, the Super Shredder by NECA. It says, then so be it, in this signature. My number 1 comic, I think this is probably the third printing, signed by the first time I met Kevin Eastman, which that was a trip. 4 hours stood in line to meet Kevin Eastman. Of course, nowadays that was before, he was in and out of cons. But no, I think I just enjoyed it as a whole. I can't really think of anything. I really, hold on. I'm really super proud of
That's awesome.
the way that NECA did the quarter scale movie figure.
Oh yeah, those are sick.
Those look really awesome. The skins on them is really cool. They have pizza, different hands, well worth the money, I think.
I like every size of those.
They're awesome. So I think that's my pick.
Nice.
Yeah, the guy behind the NECA toys, that's Trevor Zammit, and he's doing an amazing job at getting a lot of those toys out on the market. I have all the movie toys over here behind me. But here's my number one that I have with me. This is a number one first printing.
Oh.
And it is signed by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird right there inside.
Oh, damn.
Now, Peter Laird's the hard one to get now, right?
Yeah, because Peter don't do too many events. He didn't do many events before. He's not much of a flyer.
Yeah.
There's the gobbledygook ad in the back. We got two of these in my family. My mom has one, and I have this one, which, as you could tell, this is no grade A condition because I bring it to almost every convention, and I let random fans hold and get their pictures with it and stuff.
That's cool.
I've had people cry because they're like, "Holy crap! Thought I'd see one in person, and here it is." And that's because of Kevin Eastman. I was at a panel in the 90s where Kevin was going on about how he hates being in an autograph line and people are bringing up their comics in these pristine conditions, having them sign it, and then putting it right back into that plastic wrap to never get loved again.
Yeah.
And I knew my mom already had her number two. No, her number one at that point. I got mine a few years later, and I said, you know what? I'm listening to Kevin. This is not going to be in pristine condition. People are going to be able to flip through it and be able to actually read this comic if they want to. So I bring it to most events inside a book that is full of other awesome stuff. These are sketches from Ninja Turtle artists that were done for me. Like that's Mark Bodie there.
See, so, that's what I would. That's what, if I could go back 20 years, that's what I would start doing. Getting Ninja Turtle sketches. I have a couple sketchbooks, but that's about it. So mortality. Mortality is something we all have to deal with. The screen blinked out for a minute. So when you're gone, what's going to happen to your collection?
I am really hoping to get a museum going. I know Nickelodeon has shown interest in that, but then the pandemic has happened and we haven't had any conversations. But I started talking with Nickelodeon about a museum since 2014 was when we first started having conversations, because at that time parts of my collection ended up in a few different galleries for the 35th anniversary. No, 30th anniversary that time. And then I originally came up with the idea of the museum in the mid-2000s, but Mirage Studios did not have much interest. So I was thinking it was just going to end up on the wayside. But I think Nickelodeon is interested in doing something, and I'm going to try and talk with them more. But I'd like to try and get out west before I start setting that up, and getting my collection out west is going to be expensive.
Right. Fair enough. I think my youngest daughter, Piper, has already expressed that she's probably going to sell my stuff. So anything that doesn't have my name and my signature on it or whatever is doomed. So, yeah.
I have most of my stuff signed to me. Like I went up to Corey Feldman when I first met him. And as I'm standing there in line at Adventure Con in, I think it was Tennessee. And as I'm standing there, I get up and the agent's like, okay, what do you want? I'm like, well, first I have to ask, how much is it for personal stuff to be signed? It goes $15. I'm like, okay, I'll have all of this stuff signed. And Corey looks over at the stack of stuff I'm handing over and said, I usually charge more for collectors. And I looked at him and said, you can personalize every single one of these items. And he did. And he goes, I appreciate that. Many people say no name, and I hate that because it could just end up on eBay.
That's
but
what I
he
hate.
Also gets all of his autographs personalized to him.
Yeah, that's what I've always hated. I've always wanted my name on my stuff, especially the turtle stuff, because it's for me. I don't have any, like, I'm not one of those keep it in the box type of people because I don't plan on getting rid of any of it. the Ninja Turtles is my stuff and it's going to stay my stuff. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that he did that.
I have the doubles. I have the boxes, and then I have the out of package. And now I can't do that as much. Like right now, most of these NECAs have been gifted to me by somebody, a friend.
Yeah.
I'm not on a good enough income to keep up like I used to. But when I was working, I was a workaholic. I'd have 2 to 3 jobs at a time so that I could bring in the money to get the double toys. So all of the 80s and 90s toys, I have those in and out of package, including the original Turtles with the fan club papers. I have those
Nice.
put away. I don't have anywhere to display them right now, which is why I need a museum.
Right.
But I honestly think there is a world for both types, and I think they're really appreciated by those who have them.
Absolutely. Well, I think we can both agree that the economy sucks right now. There's a lot of nerding that I would love to do, but like it sucks.
I'm in a different boat. I'm in the stuff fixed income.
Yeah.
So it's not even a work issue.
Well,
I got injured at a job in 2004, which is why I can't hold a normal job again. I got severe nerve damage through my right arm.
No.
There's a battery right here in my chest.
Yeah.
And a wire in my spine, and I go through seizure attacks to where I can't hold a normal job because one of these attacks can last up to 7 hours.
Oh man!
So that's RSV, right?
RSD or CRPS is the name that's going by more, chronic regional pain syndrome.
Okay.
And that's why I'm writing the book series. It's something I could do on my own schedule and hopefully get off of disability if it takes off.
Right. Well, good luck. I still would like to see some kind of a compendium or a scrapbook from you and your journey as a huge Ninja Turtle collector. Like,
I'm working on that actually. I am doing another book after these start being published, and I have the 7th book finished being written. I have promised people that I will do an autobiography of my life in the 80s and 90s. Which will include actual journals that I wrote for school and stuff that shared the birthday parties and everything at that time of being going through the parties. I'd go to school and they'd have you do those creative writing, and I'd write about what I did over the weekend. Okay. So I have all of that stuff. I never got rid of any of it. So I'm going to compile it all together and put together a book about that after I get my characters out there, because I really would like to do something other than just be known for turtles.
Right. Fair enough.
I've become the turtle girl for a long time now.
Well, that's part of the reason there were so many people hounding me about doing an episode of our podcast about Ninja Turtles, because I'm the Ninja Turtle guy. I got tattoos. That's just my thing. I'm like, no. We got to talk to Michelle about this because she's the hardcore turtle fanatic, not me. I'm the lower on the tier here.
All fans are equal.
I really appreciate your time. We're gonna go ahead and let you go. One last thing. What is your favorite pizza place? And second part, what is the craziest pizza combination that you've ever had? And I'm going back to like the Ninja Turtles, the old school cartoons where they would have crazy stuff on their pizza.
Favorite pizza place goes to a place in Hazel Park, Michigan called Pizza Connection, and I grew up going there. So that's my favorite. I had another one, but they're sadly closed now, and that was Rorio's Pizza in New York. Originally, it was a Ray's Pizza, and in Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, it was known as Roy's Pizza. That was the original location. There is a different pizza place there, but Mario, the owner of the original place, sadly passed away. But weirdest combinations goes to a trip, and it's always when I'm meeting up with other turtle fans, people are like, we got to do the weird stuff. And in 1998 I did a trip down to a friend's house in Indiana, and we got pizzas, and it was like we decided to turn them into candy pizzas, and we just put Butterfinger and chocolate syrup and Reese cups and everything all over that pizza. Some people would say it's the BLT pizza because I'm known for that from the VH1 show. But if you go to Michigan, or Jet's Pizza, which is now reaching outside of Michigan, you'll find that BLT's on the menu because it's that good. But the candy pizza and putting ice cream and stuff on it, that was the weirdest time I've ever done pizza.
Ooh, what about you, Will? Anything weird or out of the ordinary on pizza?
My normal pizza, if I'm by myself because nobody else will usually eat it, it's usually pepperoni, bacon, Jalapenos and feta cheese with a Cajun crust.
Pretty
Usually-
tame compared to the turtles.
Yeah.
I'll run that
That's
way
usually
because
my
I don't like jalapenos. I don't
Yeah,
like anything spicy.
that's
But I
usually
did do the
what I
one
eat
chip challenge.
Ooh,
Oh man.
we'll do that for another pod. Also, I know that I know that Ninja Turtle Day is coming up, and that's in North Carolina, correct?
Oh, yes, there is the Ninja Turtle, and that's on May 5th. May 5th is the Ninja Turtle anniversary. The comic came out. This comic here came out on May 5th, 1984. So for May 5th, 2023, we're going to the original farmhouse that was used for filming in the first Ninja Turtle movie. Judith Hogue is going to be there. April O'Neil, as well as Jeff Goodwin, who is one of the makeup artists who worked on the movie. He did the scar on Shredder's face and the scar on the Raphael suit. So he's going to be there, and it'll be my first time getting a chance to meet him. Those who go, tickets are still for sale. You can get camping tickets and stay on the property overnight. Photos of that farmhouse at sunrise is one of my favorite things to do every time I go out there. I always do the overnight. And the other thing that they're doing is, which they do every time, is a movie screening. Last year we did both Turtles 1 and Turtles 2. I hope they do that again. And we also get a tour inside the farmhouse and around the property, showing us where all the filming took place for the Turtle movies.
That's awesome.
And if I'm in the tour group, because I do go through the tour at least once a trip, I will add in other little feedback from some of the different actors I know.
That's awesome. That's on my bucket list. Hopefully, in the next year, I make it out there. Is this house privately owned, or is it?
Yes, it
for
is.
Events? Okay. So they only
It's
do it
actually
for-
opened up for weddings and stuff. But they have been doing this event. This is our third year having this event there, and it's the only time Turtle fans are really brought into the property. So it's pretty epic getting to go there. And my personal favorite area on the property is sitting up against Leonardo's meditation tree.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. I'm totally jealous by that one. I'm gonna have to make it out there the next year or so. All right, Michelle. Well, I appreciate you very much for giving us the time on the podcast to paint and talk
Thank you
about
very much.
all things turtles. Where can people find Cowabunga Corner at?
Right now, Cowabunga Corner is most active on Instagram. It's Cowabunga Corner, one word. And we're hoping to get the YouTube channel and stuff back active, but it will take place when I get a better suitable home.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anything else, give my best to your mom and Mickey, and I'm sure I'm going to see you at a convention sometime soon.
Okay. I'm
All
always
right.
around.
All right.
Thank you for having me on, and everyone
Absolutely.
else out there. Cowabunga!
Thank
Turtle
you,
power,
Joe.
guys.
I appreciate
Take care.
it. You too.
Bye.
Man, that was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well,
So see, like I knocked out all the questions that I wanted to, got like a lot of insight, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. See, that's why I was holding back on doing this episode because like I can tell you what I like and what I don't like. Michelle knows.
Oh, yeah.
knows stuff, you know. So that was cool. First time I ever met her was I don't remember what year it was. There was a convention in Sterling Heights called Deluxe Expo. And man, yeah, she had all these artifacts. I didn't even know who she was. I was just like, holy shit. I'm like, holy shit, this is actual real stuff from the movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, I seen her last year at Motor City. I seen her there. But I was gonna say something to her, but she was in a conversation with the artist and Artist Alley. I didn't want to interrupt her. So
yeah, well, you know what, dude? She knocked out like all the stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I didn't want to make it about her, but you know, she was the most informative on stuff. So holy shit. So anything else you want to yap about as far as Ninja Turtles go?
No, actually, I forgot to bring up the whole Seth Rogen and new one. I wanted to see what she had to say about that, but
we still got time. There hasn't been a whole lot said except most of the principal cast. So
yeah,
I'm a little scared because it's Seth Rogen. If it was anybody else, I'd be more on board with it. But Seth Rogen, I'm just kind of like, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You can't be any worse than that last animated show.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do some commercials because we got to do some commercials. It's been like an hour. Let's do this.
Really hope these are going through on YouTube because they aren't coming through on my headphones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm being told right now. And we're back. I don't know why the commercials aren't playing on the YouTube thing, but I heard it's not just us. It happens on the escape pod as well.
Oh, okay.
It's whatever.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, if it's StreamYard needs to get their shit together, honestly. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
About covers up. Actually pretty excited to talk to her and meet her. So
yeah, she's cool, man. Like, I mean, I started seeing her every year at conventions and stuff like that. Very informative on stuff. You can go online and hear like, you know, the ins and outs, like IMDb style trivia, you know, and she'll either debunk it or she'll confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know there was a rumor back in the day that Judith Hogue, the original April O'Neil, didn't return because there were several different versions that I heard. Either one, she complained a lot about the 6 hour or the 6 day work week. And then she was kind of up. She spoke up for the stunt actors being worked so rigorously.
Oh.
There were other rumors that I heard that maybe she was a little too vocal on ideas that she had for the scripts and such and whatnot like that. So I don't know. It could be anything. I never actually sat and asked her about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things. But yeah, dude, she's good people, man.
Hell yeah.
I don't think there was anything else. I did read today that Kevin Nash was originally approached to play Super Shredder. This is after, I think his name's Peter Paul or Peter something. He was the guy that played the Predator in the original Predator. He also played Harry.
Okay.
Harry and Henry. Yeah. He passed away and they'd already started making the suit. So they need somebody that was like 7 feet. They had heard about Kevin Nash. I think they approached him at a show. And it was funny because Kevin Nash said that he made more money playing Super Shredder than he did in his first year of pro wrestling.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that dude, that's awesome. So like this bad boy, it wasn't the first time I met him, but it was definitely, I can't get a good shot of it.
Yeah, it looked good.
Then so be it. Kevin Nash signed in green marker pen, Super Shredder. I'm never getting rid of that bad boy.
Now, did you get his autograph tattoo or was that?
Okay, so fuck, I don't want to tell this goddamn story. All right, so back in my first tattoo was Big Sexy. That was his nickname. Okay. So I had bought a jersey. I was graduating high school that day or that week. I went to the mall back when we still had a good mall.
Hell yeah.
And it was a Kevin Nash jersey. It was black with red paint on it, like red type on it or whatever. And it said Big Sexy right here across the chest. And the first I went to Precision Tattoo, which isn't there anymore. Thank goodness. I think a lot of people got tetanus from there.
Oh,
And I'm like, you know what? People, you know how people are, like you wear a certain shirt or whatever, people throw a nickname at you. Well, that's how it was with this shirt. I wore this shirt and people started calling me that. So I got it tattooed right there. No, I'm sorry, right here, because now it's a building with the Ninja Turtles around it. And yeah, so that was like my first tattoo. So I don't know if it was his actual signature or if it was just like the script that they had on the shirt, but that's where I got it from. That's where I got it from. But man, yeah, dude, I did like all these Barbara Walter type questions, and she like knocked them out without me even asking. So Ninja Turtle Day, that was another one. Is there anything else that you wanted to know about as far as like Ninja Turtles? Because I think we did. Were you? Did you know that there was a Ninja Turtle pro wrestler?
I think I remember seeing something about that, but I wasn't sure if it was like a real thing or not.
Let me see if I can try and find it really quick. So yeah, so I'm definitely gonna go back and I'm gonna watch the Next Mutation. I really didn't like Next Mutation, and I was like, you know what? I know she's got artifacts from Next Mutation. I'm gonna offend her if I say I don't like the Next Mutation. And so it went over about as well as I expected. Let's see, t-shirts, birthdays. Here we go. Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles. Let's see. Download that. Yeah, I always try and be prepared for every show, but I'm not doing it so well right now. A lot of technical difficulties with this damn thing. That ain't it. Where are my pictures, man? That ain't it either. Okay, so Kevin Nash played the Super Shredder. There was a wrestler called, I can do that. I can do it this way. I can do the screen share. There was a wrestler who turned referee later on named Brian Hildebrand, and he played a character called, I think he was just called Cowabunga.
Oh, okay.
But he was dressed up as a Ninja Turtle. Let me see if I can find a picture of him really quick. Cowabunga. Image. No, there it is. All right, so I'm going to go screen share. Thanks for hanging out with us while I figure out this technical shit. There it is. It's very, very bad looking. Well, I mean, it's not terrible, but it could be worse. All right, so let's see. Invite, no, present. Here we go. Screen share. There we go. So that's what he looked like. I never caught it, but that was a thing.
Glow in the dark.
And then, I know, right? And then there was a tag team, short-lived tag team. I don't know why I never came across it, but it was the Toxic Turtles.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Pull it up here on this. That ain't gonna work. Stop screen. Stop screen. I think that's it. Hold on a second. Let's see. All right, cool. So, how's your mom?
She's doing pretty good.
I was just trying to segue as well. That's good.
Oh,
that's
damn.
Scary shit. There we go. So, I mean, they're straight up rip off of the Ninja Turtles, man. But like, I don't know what to say about it.
Oh shit.
Relive the Battling Turtles' first and last match. So they only lasted one match. I'm not even sure who it was under these suits. Usually that comes out pretty quick.
Probably just some jabronis.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I think that's all about about all I had on the Ninja Turtle front. So, fantasy casting before we take off, I guess, because I think we covered everything, man. Like, who would you want to see cast as a Ninja Turtle character?
I think Charlie Day would be a good one.
Charlie Day. I think I see his face.
He's on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Never saw it. Charlie Day.
He's on Horrible Bosses.
All right, that's exactly who I thought it was. Yeah. Playing as who, though?
I don't know. It had to be a more hyper role.
Yeah.
I can just see him being a turtle, though, just with his movements and the way he talks.
So what did you think about the cast? I mean, were there anybody on the Michael Bay movies that you had a problem with as far as their casting? Like when you found out they were cast, you were just like,
I don't like Megan Fox.
I didn't care for Megan Fox either. I really like Judith Hoag, the original.
Yeah. I like April being more plain.
Yeah. Well, I think April should have a little tenacity to her, you know, and Judith had that. I think she had that where she could be kind of like sheltered and vulnerable or whatever like that. But when push comes to shove, she could throw some hands. I didn't see that with Paige Turco. And then Megan Fox, just because it's Megan Fox.
Yeah. Was she even in the second one?
The second Michael Bay one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was still pretty it became more about her and Casey Jones, Steve Amell. But like Michelle had mentioned, I really like the fact that I didn't like the fact that they should have made him a little bit more grittier and more of a vigilante than trying to make him like transition into the vigilante. They didn't give him enough of that. I always liked Casey Jones being gritty and raw, like in the first movie with Elias Koteas.
Okay. Because I never actually sat down and watched that second one. It was like a movie I threw on for the boys while I was doing something one day. I didn't like the first one. I was
always a little bummed that it felt rushed to me. Like they gave it like an hour and a half. They gave it an hour and a half, and they were introducing Bebop, Rocksteady, a completely different Shredder. Shredder's niece, Krang, then Steve Amell as Casey Jones. Baxter Stockman was in there for a minute. And yeah, I kind of agree. Like Michelle was mentioning that he was a little goofy, like trying to high five the Shredder and stuff like that. Eccentric, I could see for Baxter Stockman, but not like that goofy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor. But whatever. I think that's about it, man. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this episode on the Ninja Turtles, and I hope everybody enjoyed with Michelle's input. There we go. Oh, okay. Send me the link so I can share this on. Okay, cool. On Cowabunga Corner as soon as I get a second. Gotta get the YouTube link. I'm freaking out now. Let's see. Here we go. Got that. Oh no. Mute. Okay. Whew. I forgot that we have the delay. All right. So I'm gonna send her the link so she can share that. Oh man, I completely forgot about the games. I know she said she has problems with her hands, so she doesn't game a whole lot. What were your favorite versions of the games?
Honestly, I love the original like arcade.
So like the side scrollers.
Yeah, that was my shit back in the day. Playing that in the arcade with my brother. That's another way I got introduced to it, was from that game.
Did you ever play the Shredder's Revenge that came out shortly about a year ago? I think it was on Nintendo Switch.
No, I didn't play. I haven't played any of them recently.
All right. Let's see. Oh, she's still there.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
I was wondering why you were still hanging out, but yeah. We were just finishing up talking about the Ninja Turtle games. I think that was everything that we needed to cover, really.
And yes, I have played Cowabunga, the Shredder's Revenge and Cowabunga Collection.
Okay.
I'm still stressed out, like back in the day, the original Nintendo version. That still stresses me out. I'm almost to the end. I stress out watching people on YouTube do speed runs. It's not fun, man.
The water level, once you learn it, now I can't do this now because it's been many years, but back in the 90s, I had it down to where I could get through without losing one turtle on that level.
Oh,
I
man.
can do that, no problem. It's just everything else. Because there was a point like Game Genie had come out shortly after this, and I thought I was going to be slick, like use the code for infinite life, and then you would try and jump into like a lava pit, and it would freeze the game. There was just no winning. But then I see people on YouTube beating it in like 20 minutes, and it's annoying.
I got a friend who did the speed run of Turtles in Time and broke the world record a few years ago. And they did it on the arcade machine, and we were at Ready Player One in Detroit. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, we gotta go check.
Yeah, my dad's talked about that place.
It's closed now. Pandemic
okay.
just.
Boo.
It was fun. That's the only time I got to go, and I kept saying I got to go back.
Yeah, I still hold the original arcade game and Turtles in Time as my favorite. There was a new one that Nickelodeon released. It was an arcade game. I forget the name of it, but
it's based on the 2012 series, and it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I played it through it once, and I did all the way from beginning to end with my friend Toka, and we I think went through about $40 to $70 between the two of us.
Ooh.
And quarters, because I just keep dying. I don't have much control with my right hand.
It was a blessing when they came out with the arcade one-up machines, although the scaling was a little wonky for adults, having to scrunch over or sit down in a stool and play it. But it was cool that they finally came out with something like that. All right, well, I think we're done. I think let's see. I want to send us out correctly and put on some turtle music. As we say, cowabunga. This has been the Will, the D, Big Will, and Michelle. Thank you for celebrating the Ninja Turtles with us. Make sure to check out Cowabunga Corner. Check out all of our links for all of our sponsors. If you guys are implored, check out Ninja Turtle Day in North Carolina, May 5th. Hang out with April O'Neil. Take pictures of the original farmhouse. Any closing words, Michelle?
Always cowabunga.
Always cowabunga. Will, what do you got to say, man?
Cowabunga.
All right. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
All right. See everybody later. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.
See ya.
All right. Thanks again, Michelle. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a good
Bye.
night.